Hello, my dear boys and girls. Your exam is knocking at the door, and at this very important point, I am giving you some tidbits of grammar, like do as directed. So, I have given the title Combining two or more than two simple sentences into one complex sentence by using any method you like. For example, number one, Joe was not an Joe was not a harmful creature. Joe was not a harmful creature. Hawkins was unaware of it. For example, you have been asked to combine these two sentences into one complex sentence. Then what will you do? You will have to apply noun clause or use noun clause. For example, answer. Hawkins was unaware that Joe was not a harmful creature. Then how have you constructed this sentence? Let us analyze the sentence. Hawkins was unaware. Principal clause. Unaware is actually adjective. Unaware is actually adjective. Hawkins was unaware, principal clause. That Joe was not a harmful creature, subordinate noun clause. It is subordinate noun clause and complement to the adjective unaware. Complement to the adjective unaware. That means this subordinate clause is completing the meaning of unaware. Unaware of what? That Joe was not a harmful creature. I am giving you another example. Number two, it will rain. I am sure of it. I am sure of it. For example, I have given you the two sentences and you have been asked to combine into one complex sentence by using noun clause. So, sure is adjective. Sure of what? It will rain. So, what should be the answer? I am sure that it will rain. Now let us analyze the sentence. I am sure, principal clause. That it will rain, subordinate noun clause. And complement to the adjective sure. Clear? Now let us come to another example. Number three. The plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. In the presence of sunlight. Full stop. The plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. Sir Jessibos proved it. Sir Jessibos proved it. What did Jessibos prove? That the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. Now let us solve the problem. Sir Jessibos proved that the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. The plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. Now let us analyze the sentence to make it clear. Sir Jessibos proved principal clause. It is the independent clause. What did Sir Jessibos prove? That the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. So, this clause that the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight is acting as the object of proved. You may ask the finite verb of the principal clause by what? And it will give you the answer, and the answer is object. Clear? That the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight, subordinate noun clause, and object to the verb proved. Object to the verb proved. What did Sir Jessibos prove? That the plant was feeding in the presence of sunlight. Now come to the fourth example. Now come to the fourth example. The letter was very important. The letter was very important. It was stolen. It was stolen. It was kept in an open place. It was kept in an open place, but it was unknown to the police. Unknown to the police. Suppose you have been asked to combine these four sentences into one complex sentence by using noun clause only. Then what will you do? You will have to apply, or you will have to use noun clause but subject to the verb. That the stolen important letter was kept in an open place, was unknown to the police. You see that the stolen important letter was kept in an open place. It has been acting as the subject to was unknown. Now let us analyze the sentence and it will be clear to you. Number one, give the first bracket. It is acting as the subject. That the stolen important letter was kept in an open place first bracket close, was unknown to the police, principal clause. Why is it principal clause? Because that the stolen important letter was kept in an open place, it has been or it is acting as the subject to was unknown. Now, number two, that the stolen important letter was kept in an open place, subordinate noun clause, and this noun clause has been acting, or this noun clause is acting as the subject to was unknown. Subject to the verb, was unknown. In clause number 1. So we have completed 4 examples. Now come to the 5th example. Come to the 5th example. She heard the death news of her husband. She heard the death news of her husband. She fainted. But it was not true. But it was not true. I have given you 3 sentences to combine into one complex sentence by using noun clause. For example, on hearing the death news, the death news extremely sorry. On hearing the news, that her husband had died, on hearing the death news that her husband had died, she fainted. Although it was not true. I have used here various types of grammatical items. Now let us give you the example and let us explain the sentence. On hearing, preposition plus gerund. On is preposition, hearing is gerund. On hearing the death news, she fainted, principal clause. On hearing the death news, she fainted. It is principal clause. That her husband had died, it is subordinate noun clause, but case in opposition to the news. What is the news? The word news has been explained by the noun clause, by the clause. So, who can be apposition? A noun or a noun phrase can be apposition. So, news has been explained by the noun clause that her husband had died. So, on hearing the news, she fainted, principal clause, that her husband had died, subordinate noun clause, case in opposition to news. Although it was not true, it is adverb clause of contrast. It is adverb clause of contrast. That is, the death news is not true. It is subordinate adverb clause, ADV clause, modifying the verb, she fainted. Modifying the verb, she fainted. So let us complete this chapter today or tonight, because the video is going to be very lengthy. I have given you 5 examples, 5 explanations, and different types of clauses within a single sentence. But all of them are complex sentences. My dear boys and girls, please follow without skipping a single word or a single sentence and try to grasp the matter, understand the matter, because you will have to write in your examination hall independently. Thank you very much. Good night. And don't forget to subscribe my channel if you find any sort of content. Thank you. Stay safe, stay mellow, and avoid mass gathering. Use your mask and hand sanitizer. Thanking all of you.